Hi friends, today instead of a class, I am going to be talking a little bit about pranayama, and I'll be explaining what that means. We're going to talk about a specific pranayama called Ujjayi breath or victorious breath. So that's a lot of Sanskrit, and let's go through it bit by bit. Pranayama is a word that is comprised of two Sanskrit words. The first is prana, and you'll hear prana defined as life force or sometimes energy, but it can also mean the breath. And then yama is often described as control. You can also define it as restraint or regulation. So what we're doing in pranayama is we're regulating the breath. We're restraining energy. We're really taking control of the energy in our bodies, in our mind, and in our breath. The one we're going to talk about today is Ujjayi. Ujjayi means one who is victorious. And so Ujjayi breath is victorious breath. A lot of the pranayamas we practice are practiced just seated and in stillness, often before meditation. But this one, Ujjayi breath, is practiced and incorporated into the practice of asana, or the poses, especially in the practice of Ashtanga or Vinyasa yoga, where we're flowing from one pose to another. We often use Ujjayi breath the entire length of the practice. So this is a really good one to have in your belt. And I'll first explain how we do the practice, and then I will, after that, explain why we practice Ujjayi breath. So, to practice Ujjayi, I'll demonstrate. You create a soft restriction in the back of your throat, not too much, just soft. And I will lean into the microphone to demonstrate what this sounds like. So it's really soft, and it's often called ocean breath because the sound that you're creating is really reminiscent of the sound of ocean waves rolling in and out on the beach, which is also a really beautiful image to have in your mind. Don't overdo it. So a lot of times in class, you will hear somebody in the room who everybody can hear them breathing, like Darth Vader, and you can see just the tightness that they're creating in the muscles of their neck and their face and their shoulders. Like it's just too much. So not a whole lot of tightness, just a soft restriction. And what you're actually doing anatomically is right here is the glottis, and this is an opening in the folds of the vocal cords. And what you're doing to create this sound is you're closing it just a little bit. So to demonstrate this another way is you can look at the difference between the sound z, which has this nice vibration to it, and that's where the glottis closed, versus s, which is open. Z and s. Or v versus f. What you want is more of like the z or v feeling with the glottis slightly closed and not open like s or f. What is the point of Ujjayi breath? Well, first off, like many pranayamas, part of the point is to strengthen the diaphragm. And the diaphragm is this thin muscle that's at the top of the core of our bodies. So it's the top wall of the core. So if you're looking to do core work, this is part of it. And the diaphragm, it separates the abdomen from the chest. It's right beneath the lungs, and it's the main respiratory muscle. It's the main muscle involved in breathing, and breathing obviously is very important for your health and well-being. The diaphragm also plays an important role in aiding elimination and in childbirth, so it's a super important muscle and part of your health. Ujjayi also works to build heat in the body, It increases blood flow to the muscles, increases oxygenation in the body, and you'll hear me talk about building a protective heat in the body. So it protects the body, and this means that it prevents injury. Ujjayi also serves to energize the body. So this is a great thing to incorporate into your practice on a day that maybe you feel sluggish or just not really into it. It can really bring a lot of energy to your practice. And apart from that, it helps you to bring some focus to your practice. And we all know what it's like to be on our mats and our minds are wandering elsewhere and we just really can't quite tune in. And Ujjayi can serve to anchor the mind on your mat, and you can just tune into that sound of your breath rolling in and out like ocean waves, maybe even visualizing those waves as you practice. Lastly, Ujjayi serves to calm the body and the mind. And it does this partly because it's just breathing through the nose. And breathing through the nose is super important for the immune system, but also because it activates the rest and digest or parasympathetic part of the nervous system. There are two parts of the nervous system. You have the fight or flight or sympathetic part of the nervous system, and then you have the rest and digest or parasympathetic part of the nervous system. And both parts are extremely important. We need both parts, but often in our modern society, we're just flight or fight all the time, and we find it really hard to activate the rest and digest part of our nervous systems, which will really help us to calm down and to find rest. So that about sums it up. If you have any questions about Ujjayi or Pranayama, send me a direct message and I will try to get back to you. Please like, subscribe, follow, and thank you for your support. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.